children as well, not just educating them.
Of course.
And bringing them up, leading them and guiding them is a must. You see, so parents, I believe, if they are well educated, well informed, they lead and guide their children on the right track. This is extremely important. That's why I wish we could have more training opportunities for parents so that they become, they can have this kind of training to their children. And this develops a personality, so when this child becomes a young student in the university or whatever, he can have a balanced life. He can have this culture of the strategic thinking. I have the freedom to decide what I want to be in the future. And thinking strategically, this is a very dear topic to my mind because my doctorate degree was on that topic. I really see that this culture should be on all levels, not just professionally, what do I want to be, if I want to be a president, a minister, a scientist, an economist or whatever, or if, and also not just professionally, but socially and physically. And this kind of, this topic of physical fitness for the youth is extremely important, because if they think strategically about their physical fitness, I don't think they will smoke that much. They will not go into drugs. They will not go into alcohol.
It will get them out of a lot of troubles.
They have to see themselves in 20 years. If they keep smoking after 20 years, what will they happen for them? If they keep, you know, abusing the health God gave them at this age, if they abuse this, they will suffer on the long run. And that's the culture of strategic thinking, you see.
Since we're talking about this very important topic of strategic thinking, and we've moved from the childhood phase to the youth and the young ones, indeed, and the teenagers, what would you say is the vision for youth today in Egypt?
The vision for youth, they need to focus on, you know, the future while living the present. I have a very interesting saying, an Italian friend told me, and I really believe in it. If you think past, you are old. If you think present, you are mature. And if you think future, you are young.
Wow, that's a lovely saying.
I love it, because you cannot ignore your past. On the contrary, you're proud of it. But you have to focus on your present and work hard, even at this age of being young, as a student or a young professional or a young mother. Think of the present and also think of the future. So it keeps you really young, it gives you the energy, it gives you the momentum to continue and to keep going and to persevere challenges, problems. You have to have this kind of vision that you have a goal, you want to achieve whatever problems you have, right or left, on both sides. You keep going because you have a vision. You train yourself, you practice the strengths, and this through a good strategic management process that starts from SWOT analysis, which is examining what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are the opportunities you have and the threats you can suffer from, to the planning stage. You plan your future, you have a strategy with details, the tactics, and you work hard on implementing this and communicating this, while at the last stage you evaluate yourself. Did it work? If it didn't work, you try again, you change some of the tactics, you might change the strategy from all over. You see, so it's a continuous process, it's a life process, it's a culture we need to really give to our children and our youth.
Do you believe, Doctor, that we actually follow here in Egypt the SWOT analysis, and do we have a perceived vision and strategy to empower youth today so that they can be the future leaders of tomorrow?
We have good cases in Egypt, and I believe and I see what, for example, the Future Generation Foundation is doing to our youth is impressive. When I go and visit the Smart Village and see the youth and the call centers and how they work hard, how they stay late, how I see with my own students at AUC, how they are keen to really have this balanced life. They get involved in activities, in community services. Academically, they are very careful not to miss classes, to perform well academically. So there is always hope. What we need to do is to continue and to do more and more of this.
And what about the civil society, Dr. Moina? I mean, we've talked about the issue globally on the governmental level, how we should have a perceived vision and structure and analysis tactics to set up for the youth and empower them, as you've said. But do you think that the civil society also should play an important role?
Absolutely. The civil society has a bigger role than the government, because it's not fair to put all the load on the government. The government already has enough to do. It's involved with the infrastructure, with political stability, with the national security. It has lots of other issues to deal with, and that's the role of civil society in the community service. And this is why corporate social responsibility now is becoming a big department in many multinational companies. And civil society should encourage this, and we do have cases of civil society, NGOs. Lots of NGOs are heavily involved in educating the youth, in giving traineeship programs and exchange programs with youth from all over the world.
But as a strategic consultant, Dr. Moina, do you believe that there should be maybe a committee or a think tank gathering both government officials or people involved in this section from governmental entities, along with civic society, corporate social responsibility responsibles from multinationals, you know, bringing people together to set up a strategy for youth leadership?
I totally agree with you. And what really breaks my heart, the split in this ministry of youth and sports, and each one works on his own, because it's really sad, because if they come back together and join forces together and have this kind of committee, steering committee, to think together and put strategy together and plan together, implement together, evaluate together, this would be ideal. I wish we could have this, and I really hope, and I take advantage of this program to initiate this this wonderful call for the steering committee, and I really feel that it will make a big difference for our youth, because I always tell even my students, if you can change the world, you will definitely make a difference. And if you depend on succeeding because of, it won't work. You have to succeed in spite of. So, you know, so this brings a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of power, and this age is so good in that. They have it. We should take advantage of that, not just leaving them to think for themselves, which is good, but also guide them, give them the environment, give them the path and the way to start, make mistakes, no problem. We learn from, who doesn't? We learn from our mistakes, try again. It's just they need to feel that they are not on their own. They have a good body behind them to support them, to encourage them, to guide them, and to love them.
Indeed. And hypothetically speaking, Doctor, if we were to think that we actually succeeded, thanks to a call by our program, hopefully, to have this think tank or, you know, steering committee that would incorporate members from all parties and all sectors of the community, what do you think would be the top priority on their agenda? What should be the very first thing that would tackle to enhance leadership skills in youth and provide them with a clear vision for the future?
Education. Education. Please, please, education. I don't see how, I don't get it, and I don't understand how thousands of students in one lecture can really grasp and understand the lecture or the professor. Unless we have a dialogue between the students and the professor, I don't think they can learn anything. We have to have a dialogue. We have to have a two-way communication model for education. We have to really work hard on education, education, education. I see lots of improvement in the Egyptian universities, but still on small scales. We need to work harder and make it on a national level.